Why did you fucking call it Oro? Why? Just like whenever, so again, I feel like I've got people that are like, they're trying to think of it. So they'll be like, it's going to be, Nick Fitness Orama. And like, they're stuck on this fitness, gym, elite, academy, training, performance. Like those are all the fucking words you hear. And they're looking for a cool word, especially a 3-letter word. Mm-hmm. And then you just had Oro ready to go.
Yeah.
Walk me through that.
It's a funny story. First thing, I'm half Hispanic. My dad's last name's Rodriguez Orozco. So Oro, I think if I wasn't Hispanic, using some sort of Mexican word or Spanish word, would be very weird.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I have the background to be able to utilize that.
So like if I open up a gym and called it Oro, people are like, yo, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it might be a little different. So I think that was something for me that we wanted this to be a brand. We didn't want it to be Nick and Allie's gym. We didn't want performance, fitness. Obviously, we put a qualifier so people could understand, since we're so new.
With Oro Athletic.
Yeah, with the athletic of that it is a gym. Otherwise, you might look at it and we'd have to do way more educating the market of what we are. But it started because when we were talking about a gym and we wanted it to be something a little bit more elevated and we wanted it to feel like a brand, we were thinking of names, and I was actually playing a video game. Don't laugh. It was World of Warcraft.
Nice.
Yep, way back in the day.
Fucking nerd.
I know, who would have guessed? And I had a character named Orozco, after my dad's last name, hyphenated last name. So when you're playing games that are very quick paced and they just need to get names out, instead of saying Orozco all the time, they'll say Oro.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's because they couldn't pronounce the back half.
Yeah,
That's mainly what it was.
There's so many people who like butcher that one, but I'm like, if a bunch of these, what sounded like white people on a video game can say Oro, I'm like, in North Carolina, before we moved here, that I thought was predominant.
Will get it, no problem.
It'd be so easy to get that name out there.
They don't have to roll an R.
Yeah,
no,
it's only one R, and I'm like, and it, like when you translate it, it means gold, which does have that feel of something elevated.
Yeah, premium. Yep.
Yeah, and I want it to be something that's more than just like a garage gym. Again, I know we're in a warehouse.
Yep.
But I want to make sure that it doesn't feel like a warehouse when you're in here.
When you were thinking of it and you landed on Oro, it's always interesting what you call it. So when I had the gym, it was urban movement. My first thing was, I don't know what they're going to call it. They call it urban movement, and then ultimately it just was urban. I'm going to urban. And I wasn't crazy about that. It's not how I thought of it in my head that was going to go. But the client's pick, you have no fucking control as to what they're going to call your thing. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of spreads like rap. Like it's almost like they had a meeting and they're like, hey, we're all just calling it this. So when everyone's talking about this, is it just, hey, I'm going to Oro? Do they say Oro Athletic? Do they say OA? Have you heard any different like versions of the brand name that you're like, I never saw anyone calling it that? Or has it just been what you thought?
It's been Oro for about 95% of it. Once in a while, people will put the athletic, but I think everyone likes the shorthand things.
Yeah.
So that's been very rewarding for us of being like, hey, we had an idea and it worked, at least on that front. So I'm really happy with the name, the branding, and exactly what I wanted it to be. I actually originally just wanted it to be Oro. And in talks, we were like, you know what? We do need a qualifier. Otherwise, no one's going to know what it is.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting too, because when you get cute and clever with the name, like you did and what I did to Urban Movement, it's, if someone hears it in passing, so if like we're sitting here talking about how awesome Oro is, and a guy's sitting over there having coffee, he hears Oro or Urban Movement, he has no fucking idea what it is, because it doesn't have the fitness performance training qualifier on it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you have to give, I know for years, everybody thought we were an outlet store for Urban Outfitters. It's like a fitness no, that's our brewery or whatever it may be. All right, so you guys have been open now. What was opening day?
Opening day was just feel of it?
No, like the actual date. We were October, what was that?
So it was October 20th?
Yeah, October 20th. Okay. So let's rewind this. So this is a unique one because we had an interaction. I remember I was outside, I was waiting to pick my daughter from school. I was at Caribou Coffee in Myers Park. And, why am I drawing inertia? Why am I drawing Ashton. So Ash hits me up. He goes, hey, got a guy, colleague, he's looking to open up a gym. He's going to give you a call. You called me. I remember being outside in the parking lot, and I remember you started with the kickboxing. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing the kickboxing thing. And I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, great for personal training. That's going to eat shit. Because I instantly you were thinking like a group fitness facility. And I'm like, if that's what he wants to do, I got to talk him off the ledge about that. But then the more we talked and like had an idea and we started talking about this more, walk me through when you guys first had the concept of it, how many shades different from your first conversation from years ago is this than what your first conversation was?
I would say it's pretty different from where we ended up, just because we didn't understand how far our money would get us.
Yeah.
And so we had these ideas. We're going to run group fitness classes and small group and personal training, one-on-one training, and have an open gym. Like, we had so many ideas that we weren't really taken down to earth yet to actually realize, okay, this is what would actually make sense in the amount of space, the amount of money you have to go into this, and what the market would be looking for.
Yeah. And I remember in our initial conversations, I think I laid that all out to you, and I was like, here's my plan. We have open gym, we have classes that are included in the membership that we can do boxing and kickboxing, we can do some sort of high intensity boot camp, that kind of style. And you laughed at me and you're like, don't do all that. You are gonna shoot yourself in the foot, you're gonna hate it, it's gonna cannibalize itself. And I'm like, hard-headed. Any trainer that has some success, you know how it goes. Like, you're like, no, I'm right. I got this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, this is how much I think your money will go for if you're going to raise this much. And I'm like, no way. And then we started doing some more talks, just even like in the real estate. So I know this is kind of fast forwarding, but even when we started talking about real estate and I saw price per square foot, I'm like, oh my God, he's right. We can't do this giant operation. And on top of that, we statistically know turnover, staff, even members, but definitely staff. And to train and constantly retrain people for classes and teaching classes, let alone personal training, and then trying to spearhead everything else, which at the time I didn't realize how many hours and how taxing that is. It probably scaled down from that initial thought, probably 2 or 3 versions till we got to this point.
Yeah, to where, so for everyone listening, so Oro Athletic is an open gym model. There is this beautiful nod, and you'll see it in the B-roll kids, but like there's a kickbox room there because when you showed up here, you guys came from Chicago, Equinox, boom, you were at Rumble, you're running classes there, but kickboxing and it's been like kind of your background and like your SME kind of training thing. And it's a cool niche thing. And I remember running the numbers that you were sharing with me, how much you're making just in kickbox is like, fuck. That's incredible because that'll allow, a lot of times if I get a concept, if they have a bunch of cash they can burn, then I got a long runway. We don't have to rush the concept. In your scenario, you were actively working. You were at Rumble until you were making enough money, kickboxing, you quit that. And then, but you had the income coming in for that, and it was really impressive and well done. I was like, cool, so we don't have to necessarily rush. Now, granted, I was actually running the numbers before I got here. You are the 3rd fastest lease we found in the past 3 years. And we'll talk about the story of how the site just kind of fell in our lap. But that's always nice. Like when you have a client who they're making good money doing their thing, you're not in a huge rush. Because whenever there's like a timeline, like, hey, I only have X amount of money, so I need to find this fucking building, get this thing open and start making more money, you make bad decisions, right? So like there was this great opportunity to like kind of flush out the idea and talk the thing out. But I love the nod to the kickboxing there, which is still a very huge part of your training. And until you choose you don't want it to be. And it's a great multi-purpose room to be whatever the fuck else you want it to be.
Exactly.
So let's start back at let's start back at the concept and the real estate. So we get to a point where we're like, hey, we're doing an open gym thing. But when you do open gym, you got to look at 2 ways. Do we go this traditional route, more of a Gold's Gym, bodybuilding, kind of what, we were all going at Core 24 at the time, kind of what Corey did there? Or do we focus on more of this functional thing? And that was definitely more up your alley. Talk to me how that's manifested, because you've been to, the top of the top, the Equinoxes, you've been to Core 24, and now obviously you have Oro. Talk about this like functional fitness forward version of an open gym, because this is not standard.
Do you want me to go?
I'll let you go.
I think that with our styles originally, even just as our own fitness in our personal training, that's kind of that functionality within strength and conditioning, or that hybrid athlete style. That's something that we always had. We always wanted to do athletics outside of also just lifting and doing all these cool things within the gym and outside the gym. So to us, yeah, doing a standard I'm not a bodybuilder. Clearly, I don't look like one. You're not a bodybuilder, no offense. You look great. But within like this fitness athletic realm, we always have been able to keep up and do anything athletic. And this is not like a humble brag, but it's one of those things where, like, if we jump in a race, if I used to compete a little bit in boxing and kickboxing, we started doing other fitness athletic
High
events.
rocks is getting big, hybrid, all that. So we saw the opportunity with that.
So things like that, really, it just felt like, it felt right because we would believe in it and love that idea of something more functional where you have strength, you have all of your racks, you have your benches, Olympic style, you got the dumbbells that go up to 100-something pounds. We chose 125. Everyone has what's good for them. We love kettlebell training. I've done so many different certifications within kettlebells and feel very confident in teaching that. And I just love using it in my own workouts. Other avenues when it comes to like some of the pieces that are now quote unquote high rocks, sleds, skiers, rowers, they've been around forever.
Sure.
They've been in CrossFit, they've been everywhere, but we loved using them, and now it just fits our mold really well because of the functional aspect. That felt right to us, instead of just buying a bunch of equipment or, again, going bodybuilding based, and it's just not really us. So it really spoke to how we could really push the message of what our gym is and really love it.
And you guys will see in the B-roll here, but kind of like the way they designed it, the room, they got a floating kind of half divider wall here, and it really separates kind of the true free weight resistance training, functional stuff, and then there is some more very selected pieces of equipment here. But when you actually look at the amount of pieces here, 2, 3, 4, like it's like 6 actual pieces of equipment. I'd say it's probably like a 60-40 or 70-30 functional to equipment based or plate loaded kind of based. To give that bias. Obviously the turf here, and you guys have a big kind of a high rocks following here, people training for that kind of stuff, functional fitness races. Let's talk brass tacks though, specifically with this site. A lot of gyms are scared when they're there, like, whoa, I don't want to be near another competing version. And I remember us having a conversation. I'm like, I want to put you guys ideally directly next to the longest standing, largest privately owned open gym model in Charlotte, which is, we could hit it with a Nerf football. It's right fucking there. It's the Fitness Factory. Kudos to Eileen for owning that. It's the first gym I joined when I moved here in 2009. Next door, good buddy Sean's spot, you got Charlotte Strength, more of an Olympic weightlifting, group fitness. They also do some high rock stuff. Great guys over there. But literally looking at this area and creating what do we call like a leech model. A leech model is like, hey, they're big, and I don't mind saying this. It's dirty as fuck. It's gross. Dog shit on the turf, aka the green carpet, and it's just not like. As a member there for over 2 years, I feel very fine saying that. It was just fucking gross. It's not like I would pay 3 times the amount to be in a nicer, cleaner, more boutique facility like this. When I first approached you guys, they're like, hey, let's open up directly as close as we can get to them. How did you feel about that initially? It was like, fuck this ginger dude. Like, is he high?
It's funny, what you explained it, because I remember you pitched it first, and I just sat there and listened and like kind of let it sink in. I was like, okay, different, didn't expect that. And part of it was also because of the facility itself was such a great facility to start and build something like this. But wedging between these two didn't bother me in the slightest in the beginning, because again, we're growing. So I'm not like, oh my God, we're so established and everything's great. But we're different than them in so many capacities. Again, it is an open gym, so that's the same. But we don't do Olympic weightlifting, and we don't do bodybuilding, and we don't have as many machines as them. And I'm very honest about that. One of our things is being transparent. I'm so brutally honest, and I don't mind sharing this stuff, and I'll recommend them. I've recommended Charlotte Strength so many times, including also Fitness Factory. I've recommended them. I even say if you're in South End or in South Park, I'll recommend other gyms, because I'm like, if you want to be here, we want you to be here, but I don't want to sell you or con you into this. So it just reminded me of personal training. There's a million personal trainers. everyone can have a full clientele and be successful together. I feel the same as a business, that they could be fully booked with as many members as they need. Same with Fitness Factory and us. There's almost 1 million people in the city.
100%.
I can imagine they only need like 2,000 to be really successful. They probably just, based on size, and I don't know their numbers or anything, I gotta assume they probably only need like 400, 500 to be sitting pretty. Us, we probably only need like 300 members to be in a really comfortable spot, and we'll just see as we grow if that's where we find and land ourselves. So with that idea, I'm like, because we're not competing, and we have something different, and because there's so many people in the city, it doesn't feel like competition, at least to me.
Sure.
So that, when you said that, I let it sink in. I think I needed 24, 48 hours before I came back with an
It also helped that you were a member there and you were like, okay, I'm here because it's the only thing on this side of town open gym-wise.
Yeah.
And but I'm not going to use 90% of the fucking equipment here, right? So it's like, okay, I see the opportunity for this boutique open gym thing where we get charged in the triple digits, right? So everyone who's listening, I heard Nick just drop like 300 some members. We got that's also the luxury of a ridiculously awesome rental rate for Charlotte, North Carolina. But it's again, it's how the pro forma works out. Is like, the beauty is here is you guys don't have to shoot that high to be in a great position. And everything beyond that is just icing on the cake. What have you found on anyone who's come from another open gym model or whatever that's transferred? What is the thing that you're hearing like, oh, I love, this is why I'm here, this is what I like better? Like, what has been reaffirming? Because you spend the money on the equipment and the layout and you have this idea of like, this is gonna be so much better than my competitors because of X, Y, or Z, but you don't know, right? It's not until that client comes in and actually affirms that and tells you like, oh my God, I love how there's no dog shit on the turf, right? That's really nice.
Yeah.
What has been some of the bigger things that you guys have heard that have been like, God, I'm glad we did that?
I would say the two things I've noticed, one that's tangible is just the cleanliness in general, having brand new equipment and having staff that works at all hours that we're open. So we have a cleaning schedule. This gym is being cleaned 2 times a day, every single day of the week. So that's number one. And then an intangible, I would say, is the community aspect, which we wanted to build and grow that, but we never wanted to lead with community. I think that if you're a new concept, you can't open and put on all of your social media, this is going to be the best community you've ever had, because we can't.
You don't fucking know what you.
Exactly. So now that we're here, established, and we really care about creating connections and relationships between us and our members and staff, and try to do that with everyone in the gym, people notice that, appreciate that. We run a bunch of free member-led and employee-led events every single month. And so I think that's been the second thing that really has drawn people in and why people gravitate and enjoy the space.
Yeah.
So you hit on that, and I want to talk some else to what I believe is truly one of the more ingenious things you guys did. And I've been trying to work this into other pre-sales, and I use you guys as the example every single time. And so someone always get asked by a new concept that I get a chance to work with. And again, whenever I get to work with the concept, from the idea to building out the business plan to the real estate, it's my favorite project. And they'll ask me, so when we get to the pre-sale, how do I make sure that it's successful, right? That I open the door and I have some cash flow coming in. And I'm like, the best playbook you possibly could do is to be training people now in some kind of private or semi-private setting, and then create some kind of free community-based fitness cohort, like QC athletes. And when I saw, like, it was like, this kid's fucking killing it on fucking this kickboxing thing. I bet you there's not that many kickboxing instructors in Charlotte, so that makes sense. He's charging a good price because he's from downtown Chicago at Equinox. He knows how to price this, right? He knows how to sell. And then I saw QC athletes. I was like, fuck, it's gonna make the pre-sell part of this so goddamn easy. And your own brand, like your Instagram account of Nick the Bald Guy, right? And like people coming, I remember you and me were at Core 24 working out, we're just kind of bullshitting with each other, and people come, oh, you're Nick the Bald Guy, right? Like, and we're not talking an Instagram account with 5 figures to it, right? We're just like, but you were hyper locally relevant because you had put together these workouts and this grouping, this cohort of anyone in, South End Charlotte, downtown, the trendy, fun, cool district of Charlotte that wanted just to get together and do some very athletic-based workouts. Where did the idea for the QC athletes come in, and how do you attribute that to like the community and that initial pre-sell that you had here?
Yeah, I started QCA I was influenced by some friends in Chicago. They're an all men's group. It's called Movement. So they do workouts and also mental health awareness speaks, getting vulnerable with each other. When we moved here, we knew nobody. So I was leaving that. I didn't even have a chance to be a part of that, but I'm like, I would love to lead a group of people just to meet people. Most of the time I make friends from the gym or within fitness. A lot of my close friends, I met Allie through fitness. So I was like, if we're moving to a new city where we know nobody, no family, no friends, I'm like, this is probably gonna be the one avenue where I'm gonna find similar people to us. So I just started saying I wanted to put on I'd be at the Dow working out and meet some people. I'm like, I wanna do agility drills back in football. Does anyone wanna join? And I had this list of people. And it was myself and another guy were gonna lead it, and he kind of backed out last minute. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm like, if I'm gonna organize all this, I have half the equipment, you have half, it's just not, I don't wanna have to last minute cancel on people, that's a bad look. So one of the girls in the group was like, oh my God, I can help you find people, all this, just to join. I have a bunch of friends here. I was like, well, I would love to have a co-lead. And originally, Allie was pregnant at the time, so I knew she couldn't do it long term. And it was just a great person to partner with. And again, I didn't really think of it as a partnership. It was just gonna be a workout group, you make friends, all this. And we videotaped it. And Allie videotaped it pregnant. And it was
quality. There was 9 people that showed up to the first
9.
PCA.
It's in June. Again, she's pregnant
Hot
with
as
a camera.
fuck outside, yeah.
It was, it wasn't the most ideal, but it was a lot of fun. We loved it. And then everyone's like, hey, I'm gonna tell a couple of my friends and can we do this again? I was like, yeah, let's do it once a month and we'll do it for free. Didn't have a name, didn't think anything of it. Slowly it was 18 people, then 35 people, then more started showing up, and I'm like, we need a group chat. We need to find a name for this. And we need to make an Instagram so we can put all the messaging in one place if people want to join this. And I don't want it to be the next Mad Miles where they have 100K following. I don't need that. I wanted it to just be if you want to join this hard workout, and I wanted it to be brutal, just hard workout, you'll come out to this. Again, it's speed and agility drills. And when it evolved, we started going to collab with other gyms. Long story short though, that to me, it wasn't to use that to find people here. It was to make friends. And obviously I'm not an idiot that if I'm leading something, people are gonna find my page, they'll know what we're building. As we start doing our messaging for the gym, people will be able to tune in and decide, does this feel like this is right for them too? But it was a great social experiment of, can we make a community? And make that feel, and how am I leading something like that? Will people like it? Will they like me? Can I lead really well? And I think it gave me a lot of skills speaking to 100 people at a time, because now we cap it at 100 people. There's a wait list of an additional 50 sometimes. There's a group chat of 250 that's at capacity. I can't put any more in it. The page has over 1,000 followers now, and it's really cool to see it evolve. We're coming up on 2 years of doing that. It's still free. I want it to always stay free. I want it to be once a month, because then it's not so much on myself. But again, it's my way of being able to build skills to speak to people, just to meet people, because I want to be social. I want to have good touch points with people. I want people to know that I also care about them, because you see these groups come up and someone will lead it and then just kind of shoo them away. And I was like, if I'm also leading a gym, I want them to feel that same way. I don't want to be a gym owner who's just never here, doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't know anything about their members. I want to be someone that is truly present because I care about the people that are here, and I felt that was so valuable, and that's really helped me for the pre-sale side, because then people knew what our messaging was, what we were doing, and we could be very authentic in it and not do the salesy marketing thing where you try to hide and do this facade of how many people you're selling.
And you guys benefit. I mean, so, if 300-ish is hey, once we hit there, we're sitting pretty, and then everything else, you guys knocked out 1/6 of that goal in pre-sale, right away. Fucking you went from 0 to 50 people. You already had people going because you spent the time creating a hyper-local concept. So when you're QC Fit Out, they had 1,000 followers. So people might listen to that and be like, that's not that many. When you're just in fucking one zip code in Charlotte, that's all you need. It's that's what they call the power of the micro-influencer, right? There's a certain degree. I would take an employee or someone of influence, hyper-locally it is 2,117 followers, because you didn't buy them, right? They're all, you went to college with them, or you work with them, or they know you here, and they all know, they're probably 1 or 2 degrees of separation away from you. Versus at 100,000 followers, you have 36 degrees of separation away, and it's just, you're kind of just a billboard at that point that someone just drives by. You have a brand, a reputation, a personality, and you've met these people, you worked out with them, you created these great workouts, and they hung out together, they socialized together. And that is such, I mean, if anyone's listening to this and they want to have a really successful pre-sale, it's the work you do beforehand. You can't just like open the doors and fucking hire Jay at FitRev and be like, all right, man, fire up those fucking ads and let's drive traffic in here, because it works a fraction as good as actually getting out there, getting your hands dirty, and giving a fuck about harboring and creating a community, right? And it's also a culture, because those kind of workouts you did, they were very athletic based, and that played so well into the entire brand and the theme of what the kind of workouts you envisioned. Because again, this is choose your own journey. This is unlock your inner athlete. You come in here and choose your own workout. And if anyone listens and watches the Instagram account here, and you watch, little reels and highlights of people that are working out in here, they're all very athletic workouts. You'll see someone doing dot drills on the turf and fucking spray. Like, it's not, you're right, it's not a bodybuilding meathead type of scenario. So we landed on here. This is a really unique situation, because we were talking about, we had an individual who had a ground lease on the property. So she didn't own it, but she had a ground lease on it, and she was able to lease it out at a very affordable rate compared to Charlotte, North Carolina. And she had just redone. So when we came in here the first time, nothing but these classic cars. I remember your dad's jaw just dropped, and it's almost like he forgot what he was there to do. He was just checking out all the fucking old classic cars. Yeah. It was really cool to see. And, but I mean, like, you look at this paint job, you didn't have to do this. Right? Like, you guys didn't change the paint, right?
We didn't change the paint on the outside. There were some touch-ups.
Yeah.
Like, that's so easy.
And she had just HVAC'd this fucking thing. Like, it was just such a good scenario, right? And when you guys first walked in here, was it love at first sight? Because a lot of them have someone who hits a site and it's love at first sight, and they're like, I want this, make this fucking thing happen. Or it's like a slow burn where, like, I'm having to sell them on the practicality of the site, and it grows on them over time. For you guys, what was that with this location? Because it's a very intimate thing. I mean, it's a very expensive legal document, a lease, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think it was kind of the in-between. It fell in our lap earlier than we anticipated. So we had moved to Charlotte in January of 2023. We didn't expect to open a gym until probably this time, like March, April of 2025. We thought we'd take a year to build, know the community, get into personal training here a little bit more. And so it fell on our lap probably 8 months to a year before we anticipated. But like you said, it was at a great price point. And we kind of felt like we can't pass up this opportunity. We might never see a price per square footage like this, an updated space like this, and really have this elevated but kind of garage and intense type feel. I think it really catered to best of both worlds. So it didn't take us long to hop on the opportunity, but I wouldn't call it love at first sight, because the speed of it, we knew we would be opening while having a young baby. Like, we were doing all of this while having baby number one. Now it's all happened very, very quickly.
Yeah. And I will say, I feel like you did have to kind of sell me on some of the practicality. Cause I think at one point I was like, should we look at other ones? And you're like, you will be an idiot if you pass this up.
I can't include this. So when I send prospective clients a rap sheet of, this is like, on all my clients, I don't show the names of the brands, but average price per square foot, average time to lease, time for construction costs. We have all these stats. I have to remove yours because it just fucks up my average too bad. I have to pull it out because I'm just like, no, I can't make motherfuckers be thinking they're gonna get, sub $20 a square foot in Charlotte, North Carolina. Gross. No, not even like triple net, like fucking, and so I have to pull yours from there, and then just reference it individually. But you're right, this was, and again, I remember thinking like, all right, we're gonna get in this place and it's gonna be a fucking disaster. There's no way, based on everything that I've seen, that this is gonna work. And it is. This is still, I would say, probably one of the most crown jewel locations that like I've ever come across in my career of like, well, fuck, that worked out real well. Like, it's not even like I can take credit, but like this was just ready to go. In a typical warehouse, you guys, and we'll get in some numbers, but like your upfit would have been probably an additional $200,000. Because there would have been no fucking HVAC in here, and if it did, it wouldn't have been enough for a fitness facility. It would have been enough for like some shitty offices, and this would have been like a mechanics, warehouse. Let's get into that. So, okay, so we get to the point, we get the lease done, we're good there, and then the envisioning happens, right? You guys are walking around thinking, okay, how are we going to divide this place out? What is we're talking operational capacity. When you guys started with the GCs, what was that experience like for someone who's never built something out? Maybe they have a concept in their head. Does it go from feeling like, oh, well, it's not going to be too bad, to what the fuck? And then we got to bring it back down and have several meetings to economically re-engineer things. Walk me through that process of like getting the quote for what it costs to bring the vision to life.
Yeah, that was a what the fuck moment. I remember talking with the GC on the first walkthrough, and I believe you were there with me. And we had a crew of people because everyone was excited for us. It's our first venture. We have family in and stuff like that. And we're talking with the general contractor. And at first, we were thinking upfit-wise, based on everything that was updated, maybe $100K. And he's like, I think it's probably gonna be closer to 150, maybe more. And you always said, whatever they say, put 20% additional on there, just in case. You never know. And I'm like, okay, 150, put another like 20% on that, like we'll still be under 200. I'm like, it's a lot, but I think we can do it. And as we got deeper into the conversations with our general contracting team, things just pop up. And that's where the what the fuck came in. It was like mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and some of it came even later after the first approvals and the city approved and gave us technically the green light to go. And they come back, and one of them was like a wet mop sink. They're like, nope, now you need it. And we're like, plumbing was already approved, and you gave us the green light, and technically, like, we're ready for the permit. And then for some reason,
everybody, a legit wet mop sink. We're talking about an in-ground fucking sink. You would take a mop and put it in and wring out.
For $7,000.
For $7,000.
Yeah.
When in practicality, you'd fucking wring it out right outside that bay door.
That's literally what I was thinking. Or like dump the mop bucket in the toilet, like
Exactly.
something easy, right? Like, and I don't know if it was based off of max capacity is why they had it. I think that was the reasoning they had. And it also came late. That was like when we were close to grand opening, so that made us a lot more nervous, plus the financials that come in it. But yeah, so long story short, it started off like, okay, we can do this, manageable on the upfit, and then it slowly started to climb, and we're like, what the fuck? And then that's when we had to like wizard the price with the GC team of what can we take out? Where do we put more of our money?
Needs and wants.
Yeah, like, you know, that needs to have, nice to have. And we're like, these are the needs to have. Here's a couple nice to haves, like the bay doors being glass. I think that is definitely a nice to have, but we made it so intentional that we wanted it to be a need to have. Otherwise, this would have had, one, those doors are gross as can be when they first, but two, the natural light coming in, I think changes so much on the aesthetic alone, which makes it such a more welcoming space. But yes, that upfit cost by the end.
What did we end up at?
235.
235. So we went from a quick estimate of 100 to 150 to 175 to 235. Yeah. And again, you know, for anyone listening to this, I don't care if the GC is your father, right? It's never the GC like generally undershot it. Like you said, there's variables that just pop up. Like they're doing something like, oh fuck, I didn't realize that was in the wall, right? Like it becomes an issue. And we had a good, you know, you guys, you know, there was an HVAC here that had to be upgraded, and that didn't fall on you guys. That was the landlord took care of that, which is fucking great, because that would have added probably another $30,000+ to the fucking thing.
We had to upgrade it. So like she was going to update it anyways, but we needed to upgrade it more for tonnage. So that did end up like adding more to the cost. And we weren't sure what that, we thought we could break even with the reimbursement. And then we realized it did spike it up another like 20K. So that was something that was unforeseen.
And tonnage is incredible. So like when I'll do a fitness facility, like people walking, oh yeah, Stu's got HVAC, we're good. I'm like, no. Just because it has HVAC doesn't mean we're good. Like if you do group fitness and, you know, under 4,000 square feet, you probably need 1 ton per 250 square feet. And when you're doing an open gym thing like this, is going to vary. And again, that's what an MEP engineer does. And that's where like, I tell everybody, like, listen, you've got me now, but the team is not done. Architect, GC, MEP engineers. Like those are the other guys you're going to be beholden to. And then eventually like the lawyer looking at the lease, obviously. But like, that's the group that you got to get to play well in the sandbox together. because a lack of communication across, because you piecemealed. My girlfriend's dad is an MEP engineer, and this guy I met at the bar, he says he's a GC, and like they're all going to help me out and do it for cheap. It's like, I promise you, it's going to cost you way more. And you guys would like the firm you used, Roby. They had everything pretty much in house, which was really nice. And if you could find a standalone firm to have everything in house, that's the best case scenario. Generally a little bit more expensive, but the best case scenario. So when we're looking at this place, and equipment layout is something I always get questions on, especially with the open gym models, which boutique open gym is probably one of the more popular models that we open. How did you determine what the equipment package was going to look like, who you were going to buy from? How many times did you update that shopping cart and that inventory list as you were like playing with this in your head?
We started with equipment we thought was necessary. And we based this off of other gyms that we've been to, being personal trainers, and knowing flow of like, and being in other gyms just working out. But like flow of like, if you're gonna grab one thing, grab another. If you're gonna superset body parts, if you're gonna do a bodybuilding split, if you're gonna do a functional split, where does everything need to lay for it to be efficient? It just feels natural. So we started off with writing down a list of things that we needed, and started with strength pieces, got towards more of the functional pieces as well, the things that we wanted a little bit more unique that you don't see as quality in other gyms. And then maybe some of the electric cardio, like your Stairmasters, treadmills, what do we need there? I knew I wanted a boxing multi-purpose room, because that way I also, as a personal trainer everywhere, I would do mitts and pads, and other members would complain because it was too loud, too annoying. I'm in the space. I used to do it outside. I had the cops call on me one time. So I was like, all right, we need something that's separate from everyone else so no one can complain regardless if it's
But we got the window in there so they can see.
They can see everything.
And be like, oh, I think I want to do that.
Yeah, and it's a cool way to like separate the space, but keep it feeling like it's in close proximity. And 6,000 square feet, it is a very intimate space, which I think that is unique in itself. But we're like, okay, now because of that, where do we layer everything? So I actually drew out like an idea of what I thought, and I sent it to the equipment manufacturer or equipment company that we're gonna buy from. We went through one company at first. They're based in South Africa. They had a HQ in Miami, but obviously with shipping, we're like, I don't know what's gonna happen, turnaround time, if a part is needed because something breaks, how long will it take to get? And at first the price point felt very reasonable, but then thinking the other logistics, and to your advice, it was smart to not go with them and go with someone at least domestic or has facilities, domestic warehouses. So we're looking at other companies. Always loved Rogue. Rogue is one of my favorite companies with equipment. Life Fitness too, but they also took forever to get back. So that almost just eliminated them. I was like, I'm not chasing you guys if I'm willing to spend $150K plus on equipment. Like, you would think you would want some sort of hand in
Life Fitness, they're going to do Crunch Fitness, all the big ones. So if you're not doing $750,000 of business with them in an order, you're like small potatoes. They're like, yeah, we'll deal with that later.
And that was the other thing that I had to wrap my head around as new business owners. We're like, we think it's a lot of money. And it is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, yes.
But for these big like Crunch, like you said, Lifetimes or whoever would be supplied with Life Fitness, Equinox, any of those.
Your order pales in comparison.
Yeah, we are literally just a speck. And then we found Legend, and Legend could, every big company normally has partners with Assault Fitness, Concept, whoever the other subsidiaries that has smaller equipment brands. So we gave them the list. They showed us what they had and what they didn't have. We started kind of maneuvering what we could have, couldn't have, and just made that more realistic, and then used that list to lay it out in here. And we drew it. We went to Legend. We're like, let us know what you would come up with in a CAD drawing. They came up with something that was kind of similar. We just showed them where the multi-purpose room was. And some of it, I was like, I hate how they lined all the machines on the side or whatever it is. So we decided, let's rearrange. And then I was like, this is more what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? Can this lay out effectively with this, like literally the square footage that you would need for each piece of equipment? And then we would go back and forth. So that took probably about 3 or 4 different
versions,
drawings, versions going back and forth. Took probably a month to get that laid out. And then I'm glad we had that though, because I literally just took tape and put it on the ground everywhere for especially the big equipment, like that 8-stack jungle gym. Once you build that, it's not moving.
Yeah.
And it took us 8 guys to put that together. And I remember we would take it out of boxes, and they're like 3 big dudes trying to get a 250 to 500 pound stack, whatever it would be, and like pull these things out. And it's insane how much that just alone to put that together would change everything if you had to move it. Like it would have been a nightmare. So luckily we had everything laid out that way. I think you and I really had a good idea of where we thought everything could be just by walking it, taping it, rewalking it. We even, before sending some of these versions, would be in here, I don't know, for weeks, like literally just mapping it out.
Just looking around in your head. Yeah.
So that was kind of that process.
What pieces now, so looking at everything you guys have now, what would you do differently? What pieces have been underutilized and you've been like, fuck, I probably didn't need that, or we don't need as many of that, or I wish I had something else?
It's so funny because we were talking about that recently, and we look at the utilization, and at different points in time or different days, I'll be like, a lot of the cables aren't being used. Then the next day, everyone's only on cables and not on the other side. And then I'll be like, 5 squat, we actually probably didn't need it. And then one day we had all 5 of them taken up. I was like, good thing we had it. The Noah's Ark is model that is what or idea is what you told me with, for some things, get 2 of everything at least. So 2 rowers, 2 ski ergs. Fortunately, I saw a bike broke, so we gotta get that fixed. But 2 of those and stuff like that was easy to go with 2. I think we probably, if we were to expand or do more, not currently because I don't think we have the spacing, we'll get a little bit more of like the ski ergs, the rowers, stuff like that.
Got it.
Things that we wouldn't use. The individual benches that you can move, I probably got way too many of those, which again, we can take that away at any point. The multi-purpose room, I actually like having the 6 bags. I think there's definitely times that it's only 4 that are utilized. Sometimes it's only 2. But other days we've had it with 6, and as we continue to grow, I think we'll use all 6. So I almost feel like it's still early.
Sure.
But I feel like we picked all the right amounts of equipment pieces and all the varieties that we needed outside of small things that we started buying later, like sandbags from Rogue for walking lunges, or the 35 pound bar for barbells, 7.5, 12.5 pound dumbbells that the
little odds and ends that like other people have requested and you don't have.
There might be like 1 or 2 machines that I think we could use, but like everything else, I feel like we did really well with selecting. Maybe this piece, the ab tower, maybe
like
just the
pull-ups.
maybe just the ab tower, and it would take a lot of space or open a lot.
Yep. I remember telling you, like, after the first year, you'll have some idea of what to adjust, but like you're still so young into it. All of a sudden we'll be like, man, I don't have squat racks. I'm like, let me see the utilization. And like, that's something we've been talking about a lot recently, like having your team, your MODs, managers on duties, like what's being utilized and when, how many people are in the facility at these hours. Because in the open gym model, that's the data piece that is not currently tracked by the member management software really, really well. Like I wish that the member management software would show you, these are your prime times, like ding, 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 like these are them, and this is how many of the members. So out of 1,000 members, this many people were in there. So this is your utilization rate. Group fitness, it's real easy because there's a class cap on how many people could be in there. It's just not like that in the open gym scene. But you give yourself 12 to 18 months and really if you're tracking utilization, because in your head, we always think like, oh fuck, with those 5 were used. All 5 squat racks are being used. That might have been 4 times out of 365 days. And then if you actually plot that, it's like, yes, those 4 times we did use all of them, but the other 361 days out of the year, only 2 were being used. So it's like if we ever do location 2 or expansion, you kind of have an idea where the utilization is. Have you guys had any maintenance issues? The other thing in the open gym model everyone talks about is the amount of maintenance you need on the non-functional equipment. And we're not worried about the squat rack breaking, but it is our Stairmasters, our treads, all that stuff.
So one of them is an assault bike. That, a pedal broke.
Yeah.
The maintenance team's like, honestly, if you got like the elite version, probably would be less likely to break, so keep that in mind for next time. Luckily, a new one's coming in, they'll get built under warranty kind of thing. The cables, insane.
Really?
Yeah, they break so easily.
So what's breaking on the cable machines?
They're either loose, they're not installed correctly, maybe the first time, so we had someone reinstall. There was a couple columns, we bought everything new. There was one column rusted on the inside. like on the backside, and they try to hide it.
Yeah, call your account manager. What the fuck?
That was the first thing I did. I was like, oh, this is all supposed to be new. What's going on here? There's the arms of the cable that go on the column that adjust up and down that got locked. And I'm like, is the cable or the column too big? Is the collar that goes on it, is that too small? What's going on? We've had to replace 2 of them already. We've only been open for 5 months.
Yeah.
There's no reason that we should have done any of that. I think it's just manufacturing probably goes through whatever machine to build. Outside of that, I don't think anything's ever broke that was so devastating, you know?
Nothing else, but it just surprised me because we invested in brand new equipment. I thought
Sure.
it would be 3 years until something would happen. In the first month, we're having cable issues.
So when you look at like the big box gyms, it's like I remember the one that I ran, we had a monthly maintenance contract of like $4,000 a month to have people out because we had 40 treads, we had 30 ellipticals, we had 20 Stairmasters.
Wow.
Like, you have to have someone out there every month cranking on stuff, tightening stuff, lubricating stuff. It sucks. Like, and this is the stuff though that everybody likes. We all wish they were all just fucking good with a goddamn concept too, because it's $900 or $1,000 and it will never break.
Yeah.
It will never break. It's bomb proof. All right, so how long did construction take for you guys? From the day you got your permits to the day you got your certificate of occupancy, what was the duration for construction?
Permits were around May. Was it May or June?
May is when we got the lease.
Lease in May.
Permits probably took an additional 4 weeks to
about a month.
receive.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was 4 weeks to receive. I don't think it was anything shy of that.
This was June of 2024, and we opened the doors October 20th of 2024. We probably got our CO maybe a week and a half before.
Yeah, it was right before the 13th, and I remember we were nervous because, construction was actually, I think, done by like the 1st, and we were waiting for the permits, but we were also waiting for the equipment, and the equipment got delayed.
Yeah.
And that's what made us so nervous because we needed some equipment for the fire marshal to give us our permits of exit paths and all the things that you don't think about.
Yep.
And we were
Points of
missing
egress and all that, yeah.
Yeah, and we were missing a couple little things. Some of them were just exit signs in what I thought you could see. They're like, nope, it has to be more visible because if there's smoke, they might not see that high, so now it has to hang a little things like that.
Yeah.
You never expect.
But it was around 4 months total. Of construction.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I tell everyone, like, the biggest thing that everyone gets dinged for, especially here in Mecklenburg County, I know I did. So your fire hydrants have to be recertified. So you have to take them and get them repressurized. You just go straight down the 36th here or Nota and just take it to the fire station and say, can you recertify my fire extinguisher? Because that's the thing because every year the fire marshal is going to walk in here and he's going to do his inspection. And if he's got a hair up his ass, and he will fail your fire inspection and either fine you, he's not going to shut you down, but he's going to make it a pain in your ass. And it's just like, that's always the one I tell them, like, just set a fucking Google alert or something like that in your calendar. Go and just take all fire extinguishers, because you've never used them yet, hopefully, down to the fire station, and they will recertify them and give you a new fresh tag and you're good to go. Did you have anything completely just like unforeseen rock you, other than the issue we just talked about before I was walking in here with fucking crackheads stealing the copper out of HVAC units and whatnot? Anything during that just caught you completely off?
I would say the equipment delivery.
Yeah.
I think if we are to open another location, there's going to be a lot more hand-holding on our end to the equipment vendors. I was shocked that they didn't have their shit together. It's like they didn't ship things on time. They didn't have things leave the warehouse on time. They pushed us back 2 weeks. Like, you can't announce a grand opening. You're not going to announce grand opening if you have your CO for a month and equipment for a month and you're paying rent.
Yeah.
You're losing a lot of money. So everything is like down to the wire. We didn't want to push a grand opening. That doesn't look very good if that's your first public appearance into the world. They're already pushing back dates. And so that, I would say, was really stressful. Luckily, it all worked out, but we kept getting pushed. And it's like, we put these payments down 5 months ago. Like, so I would baby them a lot more and make those calls a month out. Hey, we're good for 4 weeks from now. 2 weeks out. Hey, we're good for 2. Like, I will be that person because I wouldn't fuck around with that next time.
It's like sales doesn't talk to logistics enough. Logistics doesn't talk to, again, the partner companies they have to collect whatever.
And nobody ships themselves. They use JB Hunt or Mass Movement to do the shipping. And it's like none of them do in-house shipping necessarily. They, some freight broker handles it.
Yeah.
What has been, so if you start, everyone has an idea who their core customer is going to be. Like we had an idea who that was going to be. Has it manifested as you thought? And is there anything like, it's there, it's like what we thought, but we need to do more of this? Have you had to adjust how you think about servicing the core customer? Because it's slightly different than what you thought originally.
The core customer seems to be what we had as an idea. It's almost identical to exactly what we thought it was going to be, both from men and women within a certain age range and a certain athletic level. We noticed that there are some people that are maybe at the 1s and 2s out of 5 on athleticism that are just learning, and that was surprising. Not in a bad way, we always will welcome anyone.
You thought you'd have a higher training age consistently coming in?
Just because of how advanced you have to be with like specific pieces of equipment or modalities and training styles to like really feel like you can get like the most out of this. But there's people that we've met with, talked with, built out personal programs for, and I personally will do that free of charge just because I want to see them succeed. And it's really cool to see them grow, and they're the ones who sometimes have the longest commitment. And that one shocked me.
Because I think people new to fitness are very machine focused because it keeps you in that restricted range of motion. You don't have to do much. You look at the little photo on the machine and you do it. And so you do have to have a certain level of knowledge and understanding of fitness to be able to thrive and have enough knowledge to
use all the tools,
do a workout, use everything we have to offer. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and also, it makes it super dummy proof with machines. But we don't have a lot of machines.
Sure.
So yeah, that was surprising. That was very surprising.
And have you ever been inside of a really efficient Planet Fitness? And that's majority of machines. They still have someone whose job is just to walk up and down and be like, do you not know how to use the leg extension? Let me show you. Even though it's got the most clear instructions, QR code with the video and the whole thing. We started the conversation talking about like, hey, in the beginning, we kind of had this very Swiss Army knife idea of how many different things we're going to offer, and we boiled it down. And then one thing that I know that we constantly butt heads on and when we were doing this is the inclusion of the small group training that you guys ended up doing, which again, I think was really good. Walk people through, because this is something that's very common, right? I have someone doing an open gym model and rent and equipment and utilities, just like as the number, like the nut monthly starts adding up, you instantly, and it's natural, you start thinking like, okay, well, I'd like to have some backup fucking plans for when the weather and membership for OG, for Open Gym, is not doing great. And luckily, you've still got your great training following. The small group is that for you guys. And that's honestly the thing, because most people don't have an SME kind of training style like you have. That's normally the first thing they come in, like, what about some kind of small group kind of things? For anyone listening, what have been the pros and the cons of including personal trainers and small group into the business model?
Pros, it's been really cool to see trainers that have either been in fitness for a while, maybe they're removed and come back, showcase everything that they're doing or that they previously did, know their styles, and they build up pretty quickly because we will guide and help wherever is needed, but we also let them be them authentically. We don't have a very specific niche and style. Like, I'm not like, you have to be a boxing coach.
Sure.
You have to be a kickboxing coach. It's like, where do you shine best? How do we promote that? We have a trainer who does velocity training, and he works with a lot of athletes. This is perfect for his style, and I never would have thought of it. So he, I feel, does really well. He's still growing.
That's his SME. Like,
and it's really cool to see. And again, in a space like this, because we're former personal trainers, we built it to flow really smoothly, where you can stay in pockets and not be on top of everyone. Same thing with small group. We have a parameter that we want to stick within. We like to talk and even do like a test out to ensure everyone feels comfortable, they know how to flow within the style that they're going with, and other open gym members aren't affected drastically.
When you say test out, you mean when the trainer comes in and says, I want to do small group, you make sure that they know how to work. How many people do you cap small group at?
We go 8 is cap.
Okay.
It's 3 to 8 max. If it's kickboxing or boxing, it's 3 to 6.
Got it.
So it's not a big group at all. The whole point is so then that way people can progress or regress if needed, and it's really easy to do versus 40-person berries class. Not to single out berries, but or if you were someone that wanted to include barbells, a lot easier to do when you only have 3, 4, 5 people in your small group. Boxing, kickboxing, able to work technique. So really can work with them in the ways that they're not going to hurt their wrists, their knuckles, their shoulders, whatever it is. And you see that a lot in those boxing fit kind of studios. So that has been a really cool pro to help let people grow into the trainer they want to become. And we can just help facilitate, help them with more the business side, scheduling, following up with people, closing and selling.
Because they're picking the training style, they're rah-rahing it on their own on social media, all that. It's not like you're having to do a ton of that. You're obviously bringing awareness to anyone new who joins the gym and saying these are the small groups, and Kyle does velocity and Sally does this and so on and so forth. Got it. So, okay, pros, trainers can come in here, get excited, they can pick their own journey, which is kind of like the theme of the whole place, right? What are the cons that you've had in trainers and in small groups?
I'll talk about a con from probably a trainer's perspective is our small groups are only offered to members of Oro. So we've had a lot of people that we allow our trainers to guest friends in that aren't a part of Oro for them to experience it, fill up their small groups in the beginning, and just have more people to practice, again, with the flow and the time of day that they're there. And so I think a lot of people coming in wanted to just buy a small group training package, but didn't want to become a member of Oro, maybe out of convenience, or they just want to pop in once a week.
Sure.
So that's not our model. And so I think for trainers, which we try to be really upfront in the beginning of, we're a new concept. We don't have a 2,000 person membership base. So with our membership base slowly growing, your pot and pool is small to choose from for who can be in your small group, but that's going to grow over time as the business grows. So I think that was an early on con, and as we've grown more, as they kind of establish those core people that are coming to their small group every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's less legwork on their end to constantly find new people because now they have the regulars.
Yeah. And it's, you essentially have to say to those trainers, it's not going to be cheap for your members to train here. They have to buy an Oro membership, and then they have to buy the add-on the small group. So it's like, if you've been training, 13 Sallys for, $30 a month a pop over there, this is probably not going to be a good fit for them, right? Staffing wise, when you guys are with trainers and all that, and we've had this discussion, we're like the exception to the rule. There are a lot of people that had a 9-to-5 in some other career and they love fitness. It's done amazing things for them, and they go and get certified and they want to start training a couple people in their apartment complex and things like that. There's a fine line between the individual who can really make that a strong side hustle, like a really strong 25 plus hours a week on top of their 40-hour a week corporate job, and they're making good money and it's great. And then you'll have a lot of the trainers that they took a stab at it, but they probably were hoping that Oro was going to be able to fill their pockets with clients, and it was going to be like a hostess model. I'm going to go sit these nice people at your table. Do you guys find that turnover to be pretty natural?
Let's just say fitness as a whole, statistically, we know how turnover goes. You and I, we know just from being at some of the most, again, elite gyms.
Yeah.
And they were full-time, and still turnover was high.
Yeah.
So going to part-time, it's funny because it conceptually wasn't a shock. Personally, it was a shock. And I think it's more in the sense of when you have more emotion and finances within something, like, again, we put in a lot of money to this and we put our heart and soul into this. So you really believe it. And I know people support and really believe it, but if we're a 10, they're probably, again, like a 7, maybe 8, some 9s, but I don't even know if we have any 9s yet because we're still so young and learning. Granted, we have amazing staff, so I'm not saying anything against that. It's just have been some people that turned over, and statistically, just looking at the 5 months, I'm like, statistically, it makes sense. Personally, very surprised.
I'll also comment on this. I think that there's a lot of people in fitness that are great at a Barry's Bootcamp model. Hey, put me on the schedule. I want to work 7 hours a week.
Sure.
And then
people just show up.
They just show up, exactly. Our model is not like that. So just because you can talk someone through a good training session, you have the body to go with it, that doesn't mean you're going to thrive in this type of model. So if you haven't worked in personal training specifically, or a model where you have to sell yourself, you have to build your business, this is not this place for you. And we've learned that through the course of the first 5 months. We've learned that now onboarding new trainers, that we want to be really transparent with. We're going to try our hardest to market you, sell you, pitch you, fill small groups if we find someone is a good match, but it is your job to fill that small group. You have to show up at the gym a few days a week. You have to make friends, shake hands, invite people in, for a comp to start and then sell them after that. Like, you are responsible for selling. You don't just show up and then it falls into place.
There's a great line that I forget who says it. It's, when you're looking for anyone to work with, you can bring opportunity, but you can't bring determination. And if someone has determination, we have opportunity, a lot of magic can happen. But if they don't have determination, it just becomes welfare. And it just kind of falls to the wayside. And we've learned that the hard way, unfortunately. And again, we're new to this. We don't have all the answers. We're not perfect in what we do. And maybe even as a concept, we're still not perfect yet. We're working towards it, but we're just not there yet.
It's interesting. So one of the first videos I ever shot back in the day and again, this is before you had any concept. It was like a 17-minute video shot horizontal on my iPhone about like why I think everybody should work at a global gym before ever opening up a gym. Because I remember like the first day going in, I'm a personal trainer and I'm like, cool, where's my clients? And they're like, I don't know, they're fucking out there. And I'm like, certain ones? Like, no, you have to get your first 20. And then after you successfully what we call floor pulling, right? Back in the day, someone has an iPod and you'd be like, yeah, Sally, that abductor machine, let me show you a different something to do. And I can hopefully sell her a $6,000 fucking package. 20, and then we'll start seeding you with your own. Now that we see that you're worth a fuck and you're willing to sit. I mean, I remember getting there at 5 a.m. and I would just sit there and wait, like, that guy's been here for 4 years, and if I walk even close to him, he's gonna say, fuck off, right? Because he knows I'm a trainer looking for a client. And then I'd wait for like someone I could tell just got a new membership and is like blood in the water. And the other trainers are like, mine fucking dibs, mine, like, get the fuck away. But that's how it was. And you're right. If you have a group fitness gig and you show up at Barry's, you're just going to get slotted for hourly work, and Barry's does all the work to make the people get in. And for the fitness industry, I always say, it's, attract, marketing, convert, sales, deliver the service, collect, which is HR and systems, and connect, which is the retention. You got to be able to do all 5 things. The problem is if we have a trainer that can attract, convert, and deliver, they likely end up going and opening up their own gym, because those are the 3 most important things you do. Like, we end up with you guys, right? Yeah. And it's and they're dangerous. And when you find them, it's like, oh my God, I love this guy. How do I golden handcuff him? Because he is the highest flight risk, because he has the skills to pay the bills and open up his own shop and put his name on the door and the whole thing. What would you say? Where are we at? Okay, so what would you say is anyone looking to do a boutique open gym model, whether you're looking to go full bodybuilding, you're looking to do more of a functional fitness, a High Rocks affiliate, whatever. What is advice you'd give someone who's conceptually thinking of this, or kind of like where you guys are at, we met? What's the advice you'd give them?
I'm sure there's a lot of advice, but I'll start with number 1 that comes to mind. I think understanding your location and market is key. Understanding that, like we were talking about that leeching model of like, did we feel comfortable being here next to 2 other gyms? Our concept is so different. We looked at Charlotte and said, people love fitness, amazing. Out of all of the fitness that there is to offer, it's 85% little boutique group fitness spaces. There's not that many open gyms, and there's a lot of people that want the open gym model that are going to their apartment gym and are not very motivated by that. So within the open gym space, what is there to offer? Mostly bodybuilding spaces. So we felt like this was unique to the market. We also have that higher end, clean luxury feel that felt a bit unique to the market as well. So I think really understanding demographic, thinking about things like parking, which is so small, but it really makes a big difference. Your location, that I feel like is really step 1 in just deciding what city do I want to be in and what location.
Yeah. I think another big piece of advice too, that I think you helped us out with a lot as well, and then also people that we've talked to, their family, start smaller and grow rather than try to put $1 million plus in, because if it fails, you owe $1 million plus. And I feel like put in quite a lot of money even still, and I would love to have a 16,000, 20,000 square foot facility. Logically though, and trying to be rational about what we can do at this moment, I feel like we did great with what we have and money we raised. So that would probably be one of my biggest advices, is don't bite off more than you can chew or start too big. And even just the idea, the concept side, don't go so big, start small and grow later.
and I'm just going to use March Madness right now. It's the equivalent of don't put all your money on the championship game. Spread it out across the Sweet 16 because you can afford to lose some that way. Like whenever I do like corporate locations, everyone's like, should I do one big location or several small ones? Like several fucking smaller ones, because you will have winners and losers. Generally, 60% will do well enough to be very successful. 20% will exceed your expectations. 20% will eat shit and just suck, and you need to shut that location down. But to put all your eggs in one basket, you're committing to one location, one building, one lease, like all of it. You guys are expand minus this tenant next door going bye-bye, and you're able to do a quick knockdown of the wall. And obviously we'd have to run different economic models because we would never get a lease like this again. But this is something where it's like, this would crush another one of these, same square footage. And again, for anyone, I probably will do this in pre-roll, 6,000 total square feet, usable open training space. What would you say?
4,500?
Yeah, I'd say 4,500. Because we got HVAC and utilities back there. We have really nice bathrooms. There's an office and reception area. You got the multi-purpose room. Obviously, equipment takes up percentage, 15% of the square footage. This would crush. One in South End, you could do one of these, down in the more Plaza Midwoody kind of, like you could open up multiple Oros and do really, really well with multiple locations and then judge each one on its own. And then you create that, I love on a corporate Leo model, allowing that top manager on duty, that top MOD, hey, you've been with us for 6 years. Would you like to buy in and help us open the one on the west side kind of location? I think like this is my favorite square footage, I think. I truly like this size. 6 to 9 is like my sweet spot right now when I'm recommending to people, right where the sweet spot. But I think you guys have done a great job on this.
Thank you.
And it's always, like I said earlier, it is one of my favorite things is to fucking do the concept thing and watch it, because it's like when we had the idea. It's like just guide it, just let it fucking happen. But I think you guys have done such a good job. I think you've been very, very good partnership here. I'm not at home, obviously. I have no idea how that's, you guys kill each other after a Zoom call with us. But like, I think you guys have done really fucking well, and amongst back-to-back babies, and which is a fucking feat in of itself. What's your big goal for the end of this year? Like, you're thinking of the business. What are your big things you're aiming for the end of 2025?
End of 2025. We would like to climb closer to that 300 mark, obviously, and it doesn't sound like a big number, but based on like the model it is, obviously it takes time to grow. Nothing happens like that unless you're lucky.
Yep.
And some people are lucky, and within the city, some people are very lucky. So I'm very happy for them. We just want to continue growing towards that, like where our capacity number is, and really reevaluate. What does that look like? Can we maintain this? Do we increase? Do we think about expanding in the future? And it's not going to be immediate. We wouldn't move locations. Again, it would be something where we verbally have right to refusal on the next spot. Will we try to do something out back instead? What would be the next thing there? But honing in and really learning our business through all 4 seasons is probably the biggest one, because again, this is our first gym. It's our first business in general. So we're new to this, and just making sure that we're doing everything what we feel is correct and doing it right, and just learning as much as possible, soaking that all in. I do gotta give you a lot of credit, by the way. I'm gonna take a step back to the advice piece. It's nice to have someone that can help you and guide you. Thank you for everything that you've done. Again, our concept, we would have probably started too big, probably would have tried way more and spent way more, shot ourselves in the foot and burned through cash. So another big advice, I was thinking that before this part, is it's good to have a consultant on your side, or someone that can be on your team that can really help, that's done this, that can guide you in all the facets, because there's so many things you don't know that I don't think we'd be successful or as successful as we are, maybe even have this, without someone like you on our team. So I really do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, guys. I do. And I'm excited. I love it. It's obviously my backyard. I'm excited to see you guys continue to do this. And I appreciate you taking the time out on a fucking Saturday to sit here and talk shop. So, guys, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.